Previously on the Loud and Drunk podcast.
And yes, I have some news. I am now an engaged person.
Congratulations. It's wedding season here on the Loud and Drunk podcast. We have our own little wedding party going on. We've got a pimp named Moses.
What's good, baby? I just went down to the store and got myself a nice fur coat. And it was on the cheap, if you know what I mean. Those Catholic ladies, they like to give it out.
I'm Jango Smith. I do not know how to follow that. I thought that this was called the Loud and Drunk podcast, but
Don't worry, baby. You got it.
Okay, thank you, sir, Mr. What was it?
Pimp Named Moses. You say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest.
I'm sorry, Mr. A Pimp Named Moses.
That's better.
No need for the mister.
Yeah, well, no, you'll find the back of my hand very displeasing.
I hope that I don't have to feel it.
Oh, I hope you do not feel that wrath.
Yeah, all right.
It will be the wrath of 1,000 lightnings.
And we also have the groom himself.
Hey, yes, we got married. And fortunately for this episode, to keep me honest, my wife is here, Kristina.
Hello, the bride.
Hello, bride.
It's like a Tarantino
Do I have
film.
to call you a bride named Kristina?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Well, it's very nice to meet you, a bride named Kristina.
And what's your name?
Hold on.
Wow.
You should
Jango
have thought
Smith.
about this.
Jango Smith. Sometimes I forget my own name. It's weird that I was invited on the show. I have a weird brand of forgetfulness. It's very unique to just me, and I won't discuss it further because I can't explain it.
Because you forgot.
It's true. Mr. A Pimp Named, what was it?
Baby, I know you love me.
Justin, we are talking about yours and Christina's wedding.
Yes.
So without further ado, why don't you two guide us through the beginnings?
All right. So this whole to-do that we did, it was a lot of fun. It was already discussed on the podcast in the past, but yes, Kristina proposed to me.
Baller move.
Yes,
Definitely an
absolutely.
alpha
Thank
move.
you. Yeah.
Props to you, girl.
I know what I want, and I wanted him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to be strong together.
and
Strong,
I
independent
am-
woman.
about
I am
yeah.
forte.
Empowered. Yeah.
That don't
absolutely.
need no man,
Mucho
but wants a
fuerte,
man.
Mucho fuerte.
I went to a women's conference, gave me a lot of confidence, came home,
Get it, girl.
decided I don't need to be asked.
Yeah.
I can ask myself.
Bitch don't need no man.
No, you do
Yeah.
the asking.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. You're putting the fear of God and just pimp to my left right now.
I actually wanted to propose the week before, and he came home in a really shitty mood. And I decided, bad idea. Abort. Don't do it tonight. So I actually went to my friend's house up north. I took like an hour-long drive up to her house and told her, I was gonna do it. I walk into her apartment and she's got wedding dresses hanging everywhere. And I was like, God
that's
damn it.
bizarre.
Like, what the fuck?
For you, or was
No.
that's just how she lives?
No, like she was like, they fell off a truck kind of thing.
Oh, no, I've had TVs like that, yes.
I've been to New Jersey.
But she had told me, she was like, okay, cool. Like, and I wasn't expecting this from her when I told her I was I'd made up my mind to propose. I wasn't expecting her to be like, yeah, just wait for the time and do it, because she's like traditional as hell. I was expecting her to be like, no, you wait for him, which is what I got from most women.
Yeah.
But
Was this
she had
Vivian?
encouraged,
Yeah.
she had encouraged me like, no, girl, you know what you want. You do it.
The trope of that one person, I mean, like, and I find myself actually very traditional in that way as well. But I feel like, yeah, there's no reason that the opposite sex, that women can't do the exact same thing. I legitimately applaud you for that.
Well, people were telling me too, like, don't take it away from him and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I had said to him once casually, well, I think about proposing to you every day. And I saw his face when I had said that. And I was like, oh, he wants me to propose. So I feel like he gave me the okay. And so when I was ready, obviously it wasn't that day because he had come home pissed
Because
off.
she had slipped away to North Jersey to look at stolen wedding dresses, and he was masturbating quietly.
I think that's how every wedding starts.
No, so I went to the women conference, and it was one of those days I had come home and we went like our normal like date night at the bar. We had hung out. We were, getting close or whatever. And then he come home and he was like, oh, let's like go have a cigarette outside. And I was like, oh, good. Like we can continue this night. I was like, am I too drunk? How am I? He was like, yeah, like, you're fine. Because I was like, oh, I want to propose in my head, but I don't want to be too drunk when I do it.
I'm so glad that this neuroticism is not unique to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that there's like 'cause I respect you so much, and the idea that you're just as insane as I am is just so delightful.
Well, I felt it, like a lot of men, when they talk about proposing, it's like nerve-wracking as fuck. And it was just as much for me. I was scared, but I had felt all this confidence, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity. He had lit up a cigarette, and then he realized I wanted to have a serious conversation.
Oh, yeah, no. You know that where like the ozone we were outside, so the ozone didn't leave the room, but like you can tell something serious is coming your way.
Yeah. It gives me such extreme anxiety.
It's like, I know
I'll
I just
say to
lit a
my girl,
cigarette.
I'm like, listen, I know that something's up. Just fucking say it to me. 'Cause, like, whatever it is, I know this is going to ruin the night. Let's just do a whole fucking thing right now.
And she's exactly right. I lit a cigarette, took the first puff, and then I realized, oh no, something's happening.
Yeah.
Let me light another cigarette.
And when it's
No, he
great
put it
news,
out.
it's so delightful.
Yeah.
It's so delightful.
He put it out, and because I had turned to him, I did the serious thing, and I'd like started to spew all
She
my
squared
love.
up to me. So like I was like, here it comes.
I was going to ask, because you gave that body language just now and the audience can't see it. You were like, I swear.
I did.
Yeah.
I turned to him.
Shoulders go back.
I started to spew the love and say all the things. I knew he knew what was happening, and then finally I ended with like, "Will you marry me?" And I was so excited. He said yes.
I did say yes because like
What? You guys are
my
getting
God.
married?
When is that happening?
but like legit, this is the thing. Like, I'll speak for myself, but I think it's a fairly male thing. It's like when like that squared up conversation happens and you can smell the ozone change.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that's I 100% I back that, and it's obviously not a good way to respond initially because
Right.
sometimes it's not
Right.
bad news,
Yeah.
as is the case right here. But as soon as I observe that occurring,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I need to get like ready right now.
Yeah.
I'm like a luchador.
Well, that's like-
I'm fucking like.
Let me
I'm
stretch
getting a
my
fucking
back out because
cape
I'm
on.
sleeping on the couch.
Obviously, it ended in the best way, but like my brain was like, "What did I do?
Yeah.
What the fuck did I do?"
Yeah. How did I upset you? And how do I stop this, whatever this is, from happening right now? Because I think the best case scenario is that we just go to sleep.
Isn't it past your bedtime? What's happening?
Oh man, I'm so
And it
tired.
was so past my bedtime. It was like
It
a
is 8
weekday.
o'clock. Why are you awake?
Oh, 6 p.m. You said I'm done. Spent.
No, this women's conference had boosted my I was able to be like, you know what? I can do what I want.
I love
This is what
that. I really do.
I have a lot more-
shit with you.
I know this is a wedding podcast, but I have a lot more questions about what a women's conference is, which I guess we could say for another
It was a
time.
healthcare women's conference. It was
I'm
not
just
For
curious,
women.
like for women,
It's for women.
doing women things.
Yeah, she can't tell you in other words.
No,
so.
just to
It's-
exactly to like I said, to boost the confidence. We all have our stories.
It's women in
about-
like the corporate world.
Yeah.
And, like, it's
All I'm
like
picturing
a
is the
group
office.
to help bolster. Because like, listen, as an outsider, but I get to observe it every fucking day. These women are working in like the quote unquote men's world,
Mhm.
and it's like they have formed these groups to help bolster each other. Like, you do belong in this position, and like you should have the confidence of a man that gets to walk around with his cock out type situation.
Men are
Wait, we
invited,
can have
men are
those out
invited
now?
to these things. It's just like, again, I think it does exactly what I intended to do for me. It gave me this like, well,
Confidence.
this is what I want. Why I'm not gonna go get it?
I'm sorry, I have like 80 day, and now I just learned we can just walk with our cocks out.
Oh yeah.
We're going to move on
Yeah,
from your
yeah.
questioning because it has nothing to do
God
with the
damn it.
topic.
Somebody write down that we have to create HR for this organization.
Yeah. There's a lot of lawsuits pouring in. Can we turn off this monitor here?
Well, it's out now. Sorry.
Oh, God. I'm glad I'm on the
Like
other
my
side.
dick, I guess. Yeah.
So, Justin, Christina, from this proposal, what was the next step? What did you guys do after that?
So, we didn't do this in the most traditional of ways. We knew we didn't want to, like, take out a second mortgage.
Weddings are expensive.
It was
They're
about
incredibly
celebrating
expensive.
for us strictly. It was not about a show. We don't like the attention, and like
Agreed.
weddings are like this crazy thing, and we agreed a long time ago that that's not what we wanted. To me especially, it was about the formality of it. I want to be able to call this man my husband. I want to walk around and say, I am married, this is my husband, and let's celebrate the fact that we're in love and this is what we want. It was not about all the other hoopla that comes with
Yeah,
The
a
pomp
wedding.
and circumstance.
Yes,
Exactly
yes,
right.
exactly right. And not so much my family, but like with Kristina's family, at one point it almost become like a competition to a degree who could have the bigger, more extravagant wedding. And I know there's pressure on her, but like she's great about that and just being like, no, I'm going to do what the fuck I want.
Amen.
It's one of the many reasons why I love her so much. But even before we were engaged, we had a fairly resolute idea of how, if we were going to get married, how we would do it. But that doesn't mean shit when you actually have to plan a wedding.
Right.
And honestly, too, it wasn't hard because we had this like simplistic idea of what we wanted. Plus, I picked February. And so we live in the beach area. And so February is an odd choice. Which
you chose, an off season.
It was a beautiful day for
off-season
it.
exactly was what I was going for. Like, I wanted off-season because I live at the beach, knowing what like a summer wedding would entail. And I didn't want to be part of that whole hoopla.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, I love where we live and the off season is just not shouted out enough. And so I immediately was like, February, like that sounds perfect. Plus you get discounts.
Amen.
That is absolutely true. You don't have to compete with other people's weddings. You can absolutely get large discounts.
And you missed out on nothing. It was delightful.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, but like there was a level of risk with our, like, it could have been a blizzard. This is New Jersey.
Right.
We ended up with a beautiful fucking day.
It was like unseasonably beautiful that
wonderful.
February.
Yeah. Like, who knew? But we were prepared for the worst. We went in knowing if we end up just having the ceremony, because we were going to have the ceremony regardless. If it was a blizzard, I still wanted to
the
get
ceremony is
the officiant lived like around the corner.
Yes.
Justin had said at one point, "Oh, I'll go pick her up."
Oh
if
yeah,
I
if it was
have
a
to.
I have a big truck. I could have gone and picked this lady up, and we would have gotten
And
it
I
done.
was like, "Okay, cool. Like that's our backup plan," and that made me comfortable enough to be like, "Okay, cool."
And we had insurances essentially from the venue that if a blizzard came through, we could have postponed it to another date.
Oh, well, that's good.
The reason
Act
too,
of God kind of shit.
Yeah.
The reason too, like made so much of a difference that the venue was so cool about the blizzard, because I'm reading these contracts for not only the venue, but I wanted to do some sort of like a hotel, what do you call it? Like block.
You get like a block of rooms.
Yeah.
And because we were doing the party aspect in Asbury, and the one hotel gave me a contract that I was reliable for 10 rooms, which was more than the wedding in itself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
crazy.
I was so afraid to sign this contract that I didn't. And I was like, dude, it's February.
Yeah.
Like, you should be kissing my ass
Yeah.
that I'm giving you
They're
business
they're
right
greedy.
now.
Yeah, that's all that it is.
I'm not signing a contract that makes me liable for anything. So I was basically like, fuck you to this
But
hotel.
yeah, we literally said, no, fuck the room block thing. I'm sorry. Like, but it's cheaper for you to find your own fucking room.
And there's so many hotels in Asbury.
Yeah.
It made it
Yeah.
like, oh, get whatever is at your comfort zone to the people. And we don't have to put pressure on people to stay. But I needed to know that that was at the venue spot. Talking to the owner, I said to him, I'm signing this contract that says you get off if there's some sort of natural disaster.
yeah.
But what about me? It's February. If there's some sort of snowstorm, I don't want to be liable. And he was like, no, we're tracking that shit, and you're cool. If
No,
we-
baby, I got you.
Yeah, the weatherman's always good.
Exactly, though. He was
the
so...
venue was very good to
he
us.
was
They
so
gave us
chill.
assurances and insurance on act of God type situations.
That's good.
The hotels, fuck them, and that's why we didn't get a block
No,
of
we
rooms
didn't.
because it was you guys would have paid more.
And,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
it, and it worked out where people stayed where we stayed, which was more expensive, and people stayed across the street, which was less
We
expensive.
stayed, yeah, exactly.
There
We
were
stayed
so
right over
many
at Empress.
options.
Yeah,
There were middle options.
It was
didn't
nice the way
matter.
she did it. I just got a cheap room that happened to be very close by.
Yeah,
It
that
worked
was
out
great.
well.
Like it was just like right across the street, even though we were walking around a lot.
Yeah.
But
And you covered some territory.
I did.
We can
Not as much,
We
but
can get that to a later.
Yeah,
time.
that we will get to that, and we're not quite there yet. But so the way we planned our wedding, we set up our ceremony. We just got married in our backyard. We got the elopement.
Which is where I proposed.
Yeah, we got married in the exact same spot that she proposed to me. We have a back deck with a gazebo on it, and it was right there.
Which is lovely.
We got the elopement package, which I think we spent $250 on.
Well, because also multiple people had asked us if they could officiate. Sorry, Moses.
oh, did I ask that at one point?
You
You did.
I'm
Which
glad
is why
I
you
do
picked
remembers
up
it well.
dessert.
I think you brought it up about 10 times.
But because multiple people had asked, it wasn't just you, Moses. We had agreed.
Yeah.
We'd rather it be somebody on the outside that we have no ties to, as to not offend anybody that did ask, kind of thing.
Entirely because they didn't want you to do it.
No.
Well, good. I'm glad I saved them some money.
Yeah. And they were right to do it.
Yeah, I was.
But
Good on me.
our ceremony, so basically what we did the night before the wedding, we shared our vows, our
Privately.
personal vows to each other privately.
That's the way to do it.
That was my favorite part. I was so
Yeah.
nice.
So like our ceremony was like 6 minutes.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, again, pomp and circumstance,
Yeah.
typically.
The largest
No need for
part
that.
was just having my brother and her brother were the witnesses, and they signed the paperwork, which is you got to sign like 4 pages of paperwork.
There is a lot of paperwork just when you're not in the wedding. Like, you're just there to
Yeah.
I've signed papers for some people, and like, it's why, like, they're married. Like, I don't care. Like, why am I signing all of this?
That's the part of it that I dislike, where it's that it's like it's an engagement with the government.
It is.
Contract
It
with
is.
government.
It is.
But at the same time, I appreciate the value that it has. to two people
We
who are
minimized
involved.
it as much as we could.
Yeah. You'll never get the government out of your business.
No,
It's the sad
it's-
reality.
yeah.
We'll
of
save that for another episode.
Yeah.
Is that the libertarian episode?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
But I mean, basically, like we are fortunate that our house, my parents' house, is right around the corner. So like, Kristina got the house, and I had to go to my parents' house, and then. Like, because it's much harder for the woman. She has to have a hair.
Oh, I had to
Yeah.
spend 2 hours at the salon.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a hair thing.
Not out of choice. People were like pressuring me.
No,
You have
I
to get your hair done. You have to look the best you've ever looked in your entire life. Dude, I'm 36. The best I've ever looked was 10 fucking years ago.
Oh, don't sell yourself short.
Oh, come on.
right.
I'm
that
not
was
coming
pressure.
on with you. I'm telling you the truth.
No, I know. Like, hair salons are such a chore. Every
Makeup,
time I go
hair, are
there,
you
it's
kidding
like,
me?
oh my god.
What you talk about? She looked good in everything.
Yeah. So because we tried to do it so simply, it also made it kind of like everything was happening at the same time because we gave ourselves like a 15-minute window to get shit done. So like I'm at my parents' house and I have to wait till it's clear to go back into our house because I can't see her. So she's like locked in our bedroom. And then I have to wait for the officiant to show up, who I haven't spoken to. She dealt with the officiant
Who's
beforehand.
calling me because she can't find the house?
Yeah. So I'm talking to this lady who I've never spoken to before. And then now it's paperwork time. And then the paperwork's taking longer than anticipated. Because we had a noon, it's go time, motherfucker.
And I'm pretty punctual of a person.
Yes.
And so when it was approaching noon, I was texting him, like, get everyone the fuck
outside.
I didn't know paperwork was signing. I was in the room.
Getting your hair did.
You didn't
No,
have to get
waiting.
You didn't have to sign any paperwork?
No.
No, it was
our
all-
brothers
Oh, it's
did.
just for the-
Our stuff was signed. It was all the witness stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Which I figured would happen afterwards. But the lady was like,
Right.
oh, we'll get it all done
Yeah, we all. We were both under the impression that was going to happen after. I didn't realize that like important stuff was happening, and I'm like, why the fuck are they still talking? I'm like just in the bedroom listening to all them talk. I'm like, why are they not getting outside? I'm getting so annoyed.
That is the weird thing that
I'm
like
so punctual.
you're married before you even get
Yes,
married.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
all the paperwork is signed, the government has it.
doing in there?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I got this lady just throwing paperwork in my face.
Which
and I'm
you
just like-
actually weren't ready to like hear the things she was saying because she was telling him like that she has to go within a window to get it. The paperwork.
There's like a 5-day window
clarified.
type thing.
And then afterwards, he's telling me, you have to make sure this gets to the courthouse by this date. And I was like, I'm reading the paperwork
Usually
afterwards. I'm
I'll
like,
fall on the
no.
sword for when I misunderstand
She
it. I
has
think she
to
did
do
a
it.
terrible job of explaining things.
I was just under the impression that you heard it at the wrong time. That's like what I had interpreted. But it makes sense now that you say that. If she was stupid about saying it,
We paid $250 for this lady.
she's
she worked
got
so
a
hard
good
for
job.
Yeah. For 10 minutes, she made $250.
And then she was off to the next one.
Yes.
3 blocks down.
Yes.
She only marries in the neighborhood.
Yeah. All right. So blah, 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 blah. We filled out the paperwork. I'm dealing with text messages from Kristina like, get everybody outside now. I'm like, everybody outside now. And all right, so like, I mean, what's to explain? We stood outside. There was no practice. We didn't know where anybody was supposed to stand. It was all figured out in the moment. So it was just the direct family. So Kristina, her parents, and her 2 siblings, myself, my parents, and my 2 siblings. We figured it out.
It was lovely.
She comes out. Kristina looked absolutely gorgeous in her dress. It was amazing. And, you know, all the nerves and butterflies and all that stuff. And then we were married probably 3 minutes later.
It was so sweet.
It was
One of
very
the things
sweet.
my sister had said to me too was like, "Oh my God, he looked at you the entire time," and I was like, "Oh my God, I know." It made me so nervous.
Yeah, I really freaked
He's
her
got
out.
like really good like eye contact, and I'm not great at that. He's really good at it, and I was like,
He doesn't
wow.
No, I was boring
got a
myself
doll's
into her
eyes.
soul.
But we also had to disclose to like my sister, who's crazy about camera pictures. There's no photography, no video allowed at private ceremony. She was like, "Oh my God, really?" She had to like put her camera away because she would have recorded the entire thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got you got to throw it up on the talk.
No.
No.
Talk.
What?
I know, right? What the fuck?
No.
No cap.
Fuck
Stop.
you.
Stop steamrolling every conversation.
Well, here's another.
Subscribe to us on TikTok, by the way.
Yeah. So we condensed our time frame so much that while we were like going through like the motions of getting married, our limo
Mm-hmm.
was, we live on a dead end. So the limo had to back down. And all you hear is beep, beep, beep. We probably could have done a much better job of figuring out who was going in the limo, but like people also told us that we're going in the limo. Ended up like, so we ended up with a party bus and only 6 people went to the venue.
Solo party bus with
Yeah.
no alcohol because I can't drink
Yeah.
So
and
it's
travel
just a bus.
because I get mad car sick.
Yes.
So we were all weirdly sober, but needing alcohol terribly.
Yeah, got it.
We had
That's-
the most awkward
Yeah.
in a full-size stand-up party bus.
Yeah,
that could
with, like,
fit
a pole and
20-something
everything.
people with 6 people sitting in it.
Yeah.
And-
And just turns around. You guys want some meth or something?
Yeah. And that's a half-hour drive to
The-
get
the
to your
driver,
venue.
hilariously, was like, I mean, he rolled with it,
Yeah.
but he was like,
He was cool about it.
he's like, you could tell he was like, what the fuck is happening?
Sure.
What, a bunch of Mormons?
Yeah. So yeah, we got married. Yay, good job. Immediately we run onto the bus.
Yeah. Oh, well, because again, punctual person.
Yes.
I like needed to like, because I also told my sister, yes, no photos during the ceremony.
Yeah.
So we had to do this whole like after ceremony photo
Yes,
shoot.
and your
which is
sister's
weird.
got a fucking 25-year-old Polaroid camera that she's taking pictures
Oh,
of.
That's
plus,
right.
Plus her normal camera,
Plus-
her normal tripod. Like she wants to just take every picture under the sun, and I'm like, take, and then like I was like, let's go.
And it went 99% great.
Yeah.
Christina's parents are separated.
Oh yeah.
And there was a little bit of a...
Oh yeah. It was uncomfortable
Snafu.
for everyone. My mom.
But if you have separated parents, you probably
Oh,
understand
no,
what we're talking
my,
about.
my mom can make things very uncomfortable very quickly, and she was like nasty to my dad in front of everyone because apparently my dad got to stand next to me during one of the family photos, but this family photo she needed to stand next to her daughter.
In fairness, the day is about her.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
the only
wow.
reason
I
you got
can't
married
believe
is
she
because
said
of her.
Oh, actually, she did much better during my wedding than she did my sister's, and so
Oh, fair.
at least
Fair.
There's that. She's
I
least
wasn't
there's
there for
that.
your sister,
Right.
so yeah, it was pre-me, so...
it was earlier on in the divorce
Yeah.
with my sister's. We got lucky.
Yeah, her parents got divorced when all the kids were practically adults.
Yes.
Which is, from what I've observed, worse than getting a divorce when the kids are kids.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
no, you go either way,
depending on the person. Yeah.
But I mean, that was the only quasi-snafu of that aspect.
It was, yeah.
It was just your mom was like laying down the law about
Made it very
equality
uncomfortable
of
for everyone
pictures.
out loud, yeah, about a stupid picture.
Yeah.
Picture it.
But my dad was cool about it. He was like, I don't give a
Whatever, fuck
Stand
off.
next to
Yeah.
her, whatever.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Yeah.
All right, so from there,
From there,
you guys are going off to the venue.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's
Now,
when we kind of jump in.
yes,
as well.
we'll bring in Moses first.
Loud and drunk.
I was already at the
Yeah,
venue.
Moses, hilarious. So we put Moses, he was our master of desserts.
Yes. Thank you, Moses, for bringing the desserts to the venue.
That was an
Doesn't hear that
enjoyable
often.
time at that bakery because they gave me a couple free coffees while
Yeah.
I was waiting for them. And they just kept, like, I didn't park in front because I didn't even know what I
Right.
was picking up.
Right.
And she brings out one tray. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
great.
maybe there's one or two more.
Yeah.
And then she keeps bringing out trays, and I'm like,
Damn.
what the fuck? Like, I don't know if I have room in my car for all this shit. But she keeps giving me coffee, like, for free. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
nice.
all right. I need this for right now.
I think we weren't even married yet, and you
I was probably already at the venue by
you
that point.
texted me, delivered.
Nice.
And I'm like, what? I think I had like
Punctuality,
You
like it.
delivered the desserts because I didn't even think anybody would be at the bar yet.
No, I had
At the
to wait
venue.
a little bit for somebody to get to the bar because I had deliveries in Asbury to make. So I figured two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
So let me get there early to get that out of the way.
I
check
legitimately
in,
think I
and-
hadn't even gone back to our house yet. I was still at my parents' house, and you sent me a text delivered. To which I had to clarify. I'm like, the desserts are delivered? Like, how?
Yeah, I don't know. I got it done.
Clearly.
I never miss a flight.
Yeah, master of desserts.
Reception 2 was not traditional. It was a cocktail reception.
So, yeah,
which
our
was hard
venue
to
is a
explain.
lounge.
Yeah.
It's a lounge.
Yeah.
So, no assigned seating, no tables.
Mm-hmm.
It's
very
basically a bunch of couches and like bar tops. And no DJ.
Thank God.
Frank with the iPod.
No photographer.
No flowers.
No flowers. Christina's brother plugged his iPod into the DJ.
That has every song in creation.
Yeah,
That's
He
well,
is the master of music.
That's
He
right.
is not
Yeah.
that. Yeah, Frank killed it.
literally with a 3.5 millimeter jack right into the DJ booth and just playing off a 20-year-old iPod.
Yeah.
And taking requests.
Yes.
Like, he
Yeah.
was pretty
Exactly.
good about it.
He had any song you could possibly request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who hires a DJ, I'm sorry, but it's stupid.
With ya.
There's no reason.
The
for
band
that.
is worse, though. We were at my cousin's wedding. We were all outside smoking cigarettes the whole time because the band was too damn loud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We learned a hardcore lesson.
Yeah.
Like, not that we would ever want to hire a fucking band, but it was all the more like, yeah, well, why not play just
music you like.
play
Yeah.
Have my brother
And
play
anybody
any
can
song
put that
you
list
want
together.
to hear.
Yeah, anybody who knows anything about it can put that list together for you, and he did a great job. I loved it.
And I gotta say, the way there were questions, like we didn't really know. But once it was in practice, so like the place, it's a lounge bar, no assigned seating. It's mostly just, like I said, couches and like bar tops. You have to just float around.
With the amazing view of the ocean,
Yeah,
which
you're
is
right
why I
up-
picked
yep.
the
Yeah.
place. And we also did it in the afternoon, which is also, the owner was also like, oh my God, I love you.
2
You're
to 6.
giving me money on a Friday afternoon.
I still get to open up for regular business
Right.
at 7 o'clock.
It was like from 2 to 6. So it was like we got the view of the ocean during the day, and we all got to just like drink and hang out, and it was just it was amazing.
We had a absolutely wild cocktail menu.
Yes.
So like there's that thing. So you got to pick the food and the drinks. You know, you get this whole big file that you have to go through and select everything. But because this bar is like a cocktail lounge, we had to pick a drink for every type of alcohol.
Right,
there
which is normally weddings, they have one signature drink.
Yes.
We had a menu of signature drinks
Yes.
to choose from, so that this place can express their
It was-
signature cocktail.
It was every type of alcohol
Yes.
plus non-alcoholic.
Yes.
Plus, like, there was like 2 other things that were like maybe non-alcoholic or punches and like
Like light
ridiculous.
alcohol,
light alcohol. There was light alcohol drinks.
which I feel like everyone
does that
really
mean?
appreciated all of the options.
I stuck with the non-alcoholic.
Yes,
Yeah, let's hear
and
from you
added
guys.
drink and added alcohol
Well, I
to the
learned
non-alcoholic.
mechanics.
Dorian.
Dorian, yeah.
She got me onto that because there was a delightful non-alcoholic drink. It was lavender something. I can't remember exactly. You
Oh
throw
yes, yeah. There was a lavender spritz type
something
thing or
like that, but
something,
you
yeah.
throw some gin in that, and there you go. You got a cocktail, and that's what I was drinking. Like once I got turned on to that,
Yeah.
that's it.
So I'm just gonna
That
lead.
story doesn't end well.
No. I'm gonna lead with a
we're getting
little
closer.
bit of a quantifier. There was no real like dress code. Like obviously, Kristina and I were dressed up very nicely and stuff like that. But we told all the friends like wear whatever you want, be comfortable, dress wildly, whatever you want to do. And you guys did not disappoint.
No, not at all. It was
Dress
wonderful.
comfortably. Those were my pajamas.
So what ended up happening? I dressed like I was these guys' lawyers.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some good pictures
Yeah.
of just me and you
Yeah.
Send them
discussing
to me.
at the bar. Whatever the fuck. We were probably talking about wrestling.
Yeah, probably talking about wrestling. But you definitely look like if anyone out there has seen the episode of the Boondocks with a pimp named Slickback,
Yes.
just a white version of a pimp
Yes.
named
Yeah.
Slickback.
Yes.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Let's start from the bottom. Goldfish platforms.
Yes.
Goldfish platform.
Brand new ones because the other
Brand
ones
new.
To put
broke.
this in perspective, these are 3-inch pumps. They are clear.
yeah.
And inside of them are some fake goldfish.
2 goldfish in each one.
Two
And they
goldfish
have
in each one.
the
It is
topiary. I don't know what that's called in a fish tank.
Yeah, the accoutrement
Yeah.
a fish tank.
There are little, like, flowery things in there.
Yeah. Let's go up from there.
All right, so if I remember correctly, because like it was for us, it was a very busy day of running around. Purplish.
It was a purple paisley, like a dark purple.
Yeah.
With like black undertones.
Yes. Very nice.
No
and what was the outerwear?
The fur coat that I got
Amazing
from
fur coat. I loved it.
I got that for like $24, like 2 days before.
Worth
maybe
every
the day
penny
before.
because it was fake.
Oh,
Whatever,
it
it was
didn't
nice.
matter.
Well, whatever. It was
He put it on me and I got an awesome picture in it. I didn't get the
stifle
one that
myself.
you had on me. So
Oh,
wow.
is that the conversation we're having?
Oh, that is the
Bitch,
conversation.
let's throw down.
I believe there was a sword cane.
It was a sword.
Oh,
like,
that is the piece de la resistance.
and that sword cane is so dumb
Yes.
because you have to
it's
twist
great.
it about 7 or 8 times at least just to get the sword out.
Well, there was at one point. I know somebody else had a sword cane too,
Did
and there
they?
was a point where there was multiple sword canes out.
Wow.
I don't remember that
You
part.
got usurped.
Who else had a cane there?
I'm gonna have to look through the pictures.
Because it might have just been somebody with my cane.
Might have been.
I thought about bringing one, but
you missed out.
I know. I'm a loser.
Peter also had or where the fuck you are?
Django.
Django
is my
Django fuckface had a nice outfit
How did
himself
you know
too.
my last name?
Yeah,
That's a Christian name.
I just assumed you had a very nice like paisley type setup.
Yes.
I went all out for this one.
Yeah.
I spent a little bit of money on the tie.
You did a
Spent
good
little
job.
bit of money on the things. Thank you so much. That
As
means a
did
lot
your
to me.
lady. Your lady looked
Oh,
wonderful.
she looked baller. As
She
soon
did.
as we got like the go for fur coats, I've had this fur coat, as you guys know, for many
yes,
years, and I
yes.
never get to wear it. Because where do you wear
Exactly.
a 60-pound fur coat?
Anywhere.
She reached out to me too, like, hey, like, so what's the attire for the party? She like just wanted
Because she
to
didn't
make.
trust me.
Yeah.
I know this.
Yeah.
She wanted to just make sure she wasn't going over the top.
Yeah.
I was
She
like, girl,
asked me-
whatever your heart desires
Yup.
is okay.
She asked me straight up, she's like, what do we wear? And I'm like, you can wear whatever you want. And she's like, that's not an answer. That's the answer that you
She
always
needed
give
the
me.
okay.
It's a bullshit answer. And she was like, what, did you even talk to them? Did you remember to ask Justin?
Did you
and I was
even
like,
talk to
yeah.
them?
And well, you guys know me. It's like,
Yeah.
I
I
give like
love her for
half-assed
that.
answer. And I was like, yeah, I did ask Justin. And then she's like staring at me and I'm like, and he said it's okay, whatever we wear. And she's like, yeah, but what does that mean? And I'm like, it means you can wear whatever you want. I'm going to wear a fur coat. And she's like, Pete.
That was funny because when you guys showed up, she looked at me. She's like, "Oh, this is a thing."
Yeah. And that's when she reached out. She thought I was bullshitting. But she loved it. As soon as it became clear that this was
cool.
acceptable,
It was cool,
she
yeah.
was like, should I wear a fur coat too? And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
You should. You're going to look way better at it than I am, you know?
It's funny because like we kind of started this as a weird tradition many years ago without permission.
Yeah.
Going to two of our mutual friends' wedding
Oh, yes. Yeah.
in a quasi protest, but we became the bells of the ball. It just stuck from
Yeah.
there, and you know what? I fucking love it because
love
it's
it.
such a talking point.
It was,
And you
it was
get to
amazing.
meet all the family because all the family's like, who the fuck are these people?
And honestly, everyone was like, who are these people? And I was like, my closest friends.
That was the
so
first
say
time I
something
met
bad about
you,
them and I
Kristina.
will fuck you up.
The first time I met Kristina, I was wearing the same platform shoes
Yes.
in a different
Exactly right.
suit
But you had like,
at a different wedding. Well, I
Yeah.
had a different suit on.
You
It was
did.
the red one.
and you had like the intimidating cane and top hat.
Well, it was well, I had the top hat. I
You
didn't
were
wear a
mad
top hat this
intimidating.
time,
But
I
it
had
was
the
so
same
much
cane.
fun for me for you to be at my wedding in the attire in which I met you.
Pretty much. Just a
Kristina
different-
had family members that absolutely loved you, which I will share pictures
Way
of.
too much.
I had family members that were hoping you would drink too much and pass out so they could steal your clothes.
Yeah.
which I did.
Yes, he did. And I can affirm that he did not take proper care of those clothes. We'll get to that.
We will
later.
get to that.
I wore that suit at another wedding. So.
I got to take care of my mink. That's like, I cannot be getting that.
Well, no, that particular jacket,
That's
that
a nice coat.
is super legit.
That's real mink.
That's at least 40 minks.
Yeah. A lot of animals died for this. And
Yeah.
I feel terrible about this as an animal.
That's why
Well,
I go
God,
fake.
That's
'cause,
a pimp ass fucking coat.
Your
Fuck
shit
yourself.
wasn't fake.
animals are important.
Your shit was
If I could get a human
It was
one.
real. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Pete's was real.
Yeah. My mother bought that from it was,
gross.
I'm so, listen, first of all, hear me out.
Just kidding. I don't care.
I was first introduced to that coat 20-something years ago.
Yeah. And that coat's older than any of us.
Oh,
in this
absolutely.
room.
By-
Yeah, by far.
By far.
I'm mad still again that you didn't let me put it on, take a picture. Like
Yeah, what a
Moses
dick.
did.
It's never too
right?
late.
What a dick.
It's inside the house right now. You want to take a walk?
It's too late. It's not the special
Too
day.
late. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Moses.
She says that, but she still wants to wear it.
All right, so real quick, want to jump in here because we are kind of like, deviating a little bit. So reception's going on. I'm actually one of the few people out of this, especially out of this group, that actually dressed the part. I kind of like was thinking like, oh, he said to wear whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
let me go wild. I'll just unbutton this top button a little bit.
I kind of just
at ease, Dan.
I just kind of want to wear this suit because I really like the suit.
You looked, and I mean this fully, Dan. You looked great.
But the thing about it, though, is I don't know where to park in Asbury.
Neither did we.
Every time I go to Asbury, I'm used to it just like I'm going to a concert.
Right.
So I park right by where like the Stone Pony is, but I park by the pond.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I walk like 2 miles to get to the Stone Pony, even though it should be like, you could park right at the Stone Pony.
I think parking was free.
I think parking was free because it was free. Like when I went there for an event in December, it was free parking. So I got up real close to where the event was. And I was unsure at first, but it was like a couple of days that I was doing it.
Yeah.
So I found out free parking.
Off
and
season.
I told you that, yeah.
See, I don't know these things because also I think, it's Asbury, so they will fuck you over.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, we're like, I walked all the way there. I'm wearing different shoes because I can't wear those brown, dress shoes and walk all that distance.
Yeah.
So by the time I get there, I'd switched out my shoes and I'm like, I'm already here. So I'm probably going to drink until a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And so like, my drink of choice is Hendrix and Club. I drink it during every podcast. I drink it every time we go out.
Yep.
That's what I was drinking at the reception.
You're a man of principle.
Yeah. And so, somewhere around 3:30. Also, I made no plan. I was in between, like I was having a little dispute with my lady, no longer with her.
Yeah.
And I was going to get a room and I never. And
you had a complicated situation going on.
So I never made any plans.
Right.
And then like Moses is like one of the first ones there and I'm talking to him and it's like, oh yeah.
My wife was sick, so she couldn't make it. She had COVID, so I just had a room. It's like, you could crash there if you want.
Yeah, so I took him up on that, but then I'm like, I have to get my car from essentially across Asbury. It's practically on Main Street.
And I had to give your license plate to the front desk so he could park closer.
And also, this is like multiple Hendrix and Clubs in. So like, I'm driving across I picked 3:30 as the time to leave. Because I'm like, I don't want to deal with Asbury at like any later than 4 o'clock.
No, absolutely not.
Because it'll be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I was fine driving, but like I couldn't locate where this gay hotel was.
Yes.
When I say it's a gay hotel,
it is literally a gay hotel.
It is the Empress. It has a gay club attached to it called Paradise.
Yeah. And also when you take
a club.
When you take the elevator too, it's just got like a gay advertisement in it. It's very much a gay hotel.
It does have a lot of gay advertisements. Like I went to the bathroom.
Which makes sense. It's for gay people.
Yeah.
Like we're drawing attention to it like that's unusual. We were the ones who chose to go to a gay hotel.
First of all, I just kind of like I leached on it. It wasn't my choice. It was just like a necessary thing for me. It was that or drive drunk across the state.
Right.
I was all about staying at the gay hotel largely because I just wanted to make Justin the mechanic so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very cheap and it was very affordable.
It was very affordable.
Also cheap, affordable, literally across the street from the venue.
Yeah, 20 feet. Yeah.
Many years ago, this is going to be a very quick story. Long time ago in a different life, I was at the hotel with a girlfriend at the time.
Oh,
We got invited to
story.
an orgy in the club, and we couldn't remember the room number, so we knocked on every door and then Pied Pipered about 40 people and then got kicked out of the hotel.
Yeah, we stayed at a very nice hotel.
We stayed at a very nice hotel.
Just saying, we stayed at the nicest hotel in the area.
Not the Empress.
Your story takes me to, if we can deviate from the reception, to the bar crawl, because that was not the whole part of the wedding.
All right.
So the wedding was 2 to 6, and so we anticipated the after party being the bar crawl.
We set this up in such a way, so it's like that thing, you have to pick and choose people type situation. And so we said, all right, so the best way to do is we're doing this 2 to 6, is that everybody else that we couldn't like fit on the list.
Because I have a big family.
We were like, all right, meet us up afterwards. We'll have like an hour break time to try to figure shit out, get checking the rooms, all that stuff like that, and then we'll meet up for a bar crawl in Asbury because basically there's a bunch of bars in a couple block area.
Asbury's very good for a walking distance.
A very
short. Yeah, there's a lot of bars in a short distance.
It's like the only other place that I can think of in this area
Hoboken. Not in this area,
it's
but
kind of like Seaside Heights.
Yeah,
but Asbury is great for that. And you guys had picked the Wonder Bar.
Yes. Oh boy.
But before we get to that, because some of us are impatient and didn't want to stop drinking. So I met up with Moses at this place. It was Robinson Ale House, I believe.
Okay.
You can tell by his lack of knowledge.
I have no. I went back to the room and changed because I wasn't doing a bar crawl in platforms because that wasn't going to end well.
But you were there with friend of the show, Colin. And you were drinking, I don't even know what. I don't even know if you were cognizant at that point.
Who knows? I took a lot of edibles then, too.
Yeah, well, of course you did, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And so, we were doing a little bit of drinking there. Like
I'm sorry, Dan, a little bit of drinking?
A little bit of drinking.
Okay.
Because, the 4 hour...
That's very cute.
4 hour reception was not enough.
Well, in my defense, I had at least 4 drinks before they got to the venue because I was just waiting.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
What the fuck else am I going to do?
And also, we were taking full advantage of the open bar.
Oh, yeah. They ran out of liquor.
That bar is bankrupt today.
Yeah.
But so we're doing a little bit of drinking there because the Wonder Bar wouldn't let us in because it wasn't 7 o'clock yet.
Yes.
I guess that's when
there was a lot of things that we thought it.
Also, the Stone Pony was doing their 50th anniversary that night.
There was a lot of things going on that we didn't particularly realize, and we'll get into a bunch of them, but we didn't realize that we told everybody meet us at the Wonder Bar at 7 o'clock. We didn't realize Wonder Bar opened at 7 o'clock. We didn't realize they were going to be charging a $20 cover to get in.
That was weird.
That was what annoyed me the most because I hate paying to exist inside the bar.
Yeah, but we'll go back to you, Dan, because you're speaking from a perspective that Kristina and I know nothing about, because we were just trying to check into our hotel and shit like that and get situated before we met up with you guys.
Yeah, we were just chilling at Robinson. We were just having a few drinks there, although it was kind of noticeable towards the end that Mr. Moses here had imbibed way too much over the course of that 4 hours. And
what's that, Mr. Moses?
What
is too much?
Well, we haven't found out yet.
So from there, it's time we cross the street over to Wonder Bar. I somehow beat him to the punch and he was there.
I like that you use the word somehow, despite that you know how inaccurate it is.
We were kind of leaving at the same time.
We left at the same time. I changed and still beat him there, and he was just walking casually down the street.
But so I'm there. I'm grabbing a drink. I don't particularly like Wonder Bar. I've been there a few times, but whatever. And Moses, you tried entering the bar. Well, I'll let everyone else kind of tell the story because you had a little bit more of a front row view.
Failed.
Yeah, failed miserably.
All right, can I give it from we checked into our hotel? I would say maybe 7:30, 7:30, close to 8, maybe somewhere in that area. Time, there was no hard times because I wasn't paying attention to any of that. But we roll up on Wonder Bar, and there's Moses outside, wasted,
tuned up.
Those non-alcoholic drinks will hit you.
That's his kryptonite.
And all we're trying to figure out is, have you been in Wonder Bar? Have you been kicked out of Wonder Bar? And you keep telling me that you've been in Wonder Bar. Then you've been in Wonder Bar and out of Wonder Bar 6 times, according to you.
If I may?
Pete, this is your point too.
I'd love to chime in here.
Yeah.
Because I know a little bit about this story.
Yeah.
So I bore witness to what you're describing.
Yeah.
To the sight of this unsightly gentleman who was in no state to be at any bar. Indeed, you had changed, which was surprising to me.
Yes.
Because the last time that I had seen you, you were dressed like a pimp. And now you were dressed like a homeless man.
And then I was in grunge.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, you were looking very grunge.
That's one way to put it. I just walked right past you because I don't give a fuck about what happens to you while we're having this.
It's Asbury. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah, there's no real problems here. And I wandered in, and I believe that I made moves to get myself and my lady a drink. And at some point, Kristina, you had said to me, it's we were all deeply aware of the situation, but you actually pulled me aside. And you said, Pete, I need you to get Moses in here.
Frowned out. Frown.
That's fine.
Frown
and I looked at you right in your eyes. We shared a moment together, and I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. Because I don't want to upset you on your wedding day, but I also don't want to do what you're asking me. And you were like, I just want him here, and you're the only one who can do it, which is very flattering.
I think she had heard tell of that story of Pablo many years ago.
Maybe. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I just felt very obligated because I respect you. No. There's no apologies needed. You flattered me at the same time, so that my ego got me going. And so I was like, I'm going to do this for you because I adore you. And I was like, but I don't think that it's possible. And I wandered back out and I spoke to many, many bouncers. The story is long.
There was a lot of bouncers there.
And I got through one, this is my friend, so on and so forth. Bride's right here. She asked me to speak to you. Basically, all truths. Eventually make my way over to like the proper Moses, who at this point is, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus on this one, but unable to stand properly. There's a lot of waviness going on. There's just, it's the state as anybody might be in if they drank too much.
If I might jump in as well.
Please.
He attempted to use a potted plant.
This didn't even happen yet. This happened after I allowed them I got them to allow him into the vestibule.
Yeah.
They didn't want to allow him into the vestibule because they were concerned that even the liability there was too great. So got him in there, and the only reason they let him in there is because they were like, when we were still outside, or we were still like in this like in-between period, the bouncer that I was speaking to was like, I can't let him in. And I was like, please, 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 kind of scenario. And I was kind of like not taking no for an answer. And the bouncer was like, I can't do it. All that I can do. Because I said to him at a certain point, I was like, who can?
Right.
And he was like, I have to talk to my boss. And I was like, okay, so while you're doing that, can I at least have him in here?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I guess so. And I get him into the vestibule, which is tiny. It's like fucking what, like 6 by 8?
If
like
that.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
And while we're standing there, and they leave us with another bouncer because they totally don't trust either one of us. So there's another bouncer who's like, all of these individual bouncers were like friendly enough about it. They were like laughing because it's an absurd scenario.
They knew how absurd the situation was.
And I'm like angry at you because like I'm only in this boat because of you, and arguably because of you, Kristina.
Right.
And I'm just telling you to like not fuck up because like I feel like and like not necessarily so, but like I just feel like I'm married to this. Like my name is on this, which is not actually how it was.
She charged you with a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like on the one hand, I knew that it was not going to work because realistically, why would you let somebody in who was
But you
wasted?
did your damnedest.
I did my best, but at the same time, I didn't want for something bad to happen, to put it like in the simplest way.
Yeah.
So you and I are chilling in there, Moses, and like you're like being a dick to me and like touching me in weird ways. It brings me back to church and shit. And I'm just like trying to get you to just like be chill for a moment because I'm literally fighting this uphill battle of trying to convince them that you're not wasted. And I was like pulling out like all the fucking cards where I'm like, oh, I know that he seems really drunk, but he's actually like, he's a diabetic. He just needs some sugar in him.
Yeah.
He has been drinking, but it's not as bad as it seems. And while I'm doing that, that's where you jumped in with that story. Yeah. That's when you like look at a plant, which is right next to you. It's a fake fucking plant. And you look at it and you're like, I'm going to sit down at the bar. And then you just make the move to do it. And you just go, and like to put this in perspective, the pot that this plant is in is like a foot to 18 inches.
Right.
So it's nowhere near the height of a seat. And you just like went to sit down, like your body motions, whereas if you thought that the top of the plant was where the seat began. And so you did this and you just fell down. And I had to like catch you. And I'm still talking to the guy who's just laughing at me. He's just straight up like, he's like,
you poor soul.
He's like, he's just a diabetic. And I'm like, no, it's not as bad as it looks.
I get some orange juice and it will be fine.
Yeah. So that was the story inside. They ended up I got through one manager, and then I got all the way up to the manager of the place, who was like an old man. Yeah. And the old man came out, and they were all very friendly. As much as I disliked that place, the old man, like the guy who was like the manager, whatever the fuck his job was, he was just like, I'm not letting your friend in. He's wasted. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But like, I at least needed to reach the high end of it. And I was like, can you hold him here for a minute? Because like, I at least have to go. Because I was really milking the story of like, it's a bride and it's her wedding day. And you're really going to upset her and this and that. I was like, can you at least hold him here? They got you a bottle of water.
It was delicious.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember it. But they got Moses a bottle of water.
I think I poured it on my
the
stool.
house. This is a place that charges like $20 for a bottle of water. But either way, I was like, can you at least hold him here? I have to go and tell this extremely disappointed bride that you're disappointing because I never stop. You never stop. You have to do it until the end.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was just like, yeah, I'll keep him here.
Yep.
Like, he wasn't taking any of my shit. And so I ran back inside. I told you, Kristina, and I'm getting from the look on your face, you don't remember. So I went back inside, I told you, and you were like, thank you so much for trying, and blah, blah, blah. And I went back out, and I was like, Moses, we're going back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to jump in real quick, because someone else noticed this, because Mr. Justin over here, he was going to help you escort Mr. Moses.
Justin said, I'll help you back,
But our friend, Mr. Mechanic,
said,
like, no. This is your day.
Oh,
I
good
will
job,
help.
mechanic.
This is true. Yeah.
And now
Shout
I will
out
let
to
you
mechanic.
take.
Yeah. So that's exactly how it went down. Basically, I began like the early process of getting Moses off of a fake potted plant and started to walk him out the door. Justin, you came out and you were like, I'm going to give you a hand because Moses is a two-man job. And that's when
And we've done that dance before.
We've done that dance before. And Mechanic, who is inexperienced in dealing with this type of scenario, is like, it's your wedding day.
Yes.
You do you.
It was very
I'm
gracious
gonna help
of him. It was. I appreciated it, but continue.
So we start walking, and it's not a long walk. You know, a couple 100 feet sort of scenario.
Yeah.
2 blocks.
And,
2.5 blocks.
Something like that. And we're walking, and you're being fucking cantankerous and obnoxious, Mr. Moses. At a certain point, it's like me and Mechanic. He was wasted too. I was obviously very drunk. And Moses, you look me right in the eyes, and this is not the first time this has happened.
It's like a cat thing.
Yeah. He looks me right in the eyes, and you go, I'm gonna run. and I go, go nuts. and you just begin running. Just in general, you just begin running. And I don't do anything. I'm also wearing a 60-pound fur coat.
Yeah.
So and it did cross my mind, drunk as I was like, I am not going to run after you because fuck you.
Yeah.
And 2, I can't run after you in this coat. It's super heavy. I'm out of shape, you know? Like, it's just not a thing that's going to happen. So, like, what happens to you happens to you. So you just start booking it. And it's like, and you were like looking behind you like you wanted me to chase you because I know how you are. You're a fucking cat. And Mechanic, and we're like barely out of the bar, by the way. And Mechanic is like, oh my God, he's running. He's going to get hurt. And I'm like, probably. And he's like, we need to do something. And I'm like, you do you.
Yeah.
And so you're like, at this point, you're like 20, 30 feet away. And so Mechanic starts running after him. And you're like, whatever you are, like 4'5" or some shit. Yeah. And Mechanic's like, he's taller than I am. He's over 6 feet tall.
Probably 6'2".
Yeah, he's over 6 feet tall. You know, he's in the same kind of shape as I am. And he starts booking after you. And I'm like, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like casually walking, doing like a pimp walk.
Yeah.
In my fucking coat and shit. And I'm like, they're going to get fucked up. And I'm just going to wear the stupid fucking coat the whole walk back. But anyways, he's chasing after you, and I hate to give you this flattery because I feel like you're going to take it this way, but this is how it happened. Mechanic is chasing after him in a straight line. Right. He's just trying to save Moses' life because he's concerned that something bad is going to happen to Moses.
He is the best.
Moses
he cares the most.
Is fucking blasted fucking wasted. And he's like jumping up on curbs. This is not like, it doesn't look good. It does not look good.
No,
he looks wasted.
No.
He's not making it eloquent, but he's jumping up off of curbs and doing like a skip off of them and then like clicking his heels together. He's doing like a whole fucking like thing, or again, like a cat where he's like teasing Justin.
Yes.
And there's no reason for it. And I don't know how you did that as drunk as you were. The fact that you did not fall over is incredible.
Well, it wasn't a plant.
Yeah, but he is like running into the street. Cars had to like slam on their brakes. He's like a menace, you know. He's just like fucking everything up. And Justin's just like trying to save Moses' life. And at a certain point, they're like way far away from me because I'd just been doing the pimp walk the whole time. and at a certain point, I'm just watching it. And you just see Justin go down to the left, just straight up. He just goes right the fuck down, laying straight up on his side. And he's like nursing his wounds and what have you. And Moses stops and he turns around and he comes. And I'm still like easily 50, 60 feet away at this point. And Moses turns around, comes back to him, and starts shit talking him. And he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you bitch? You can't fucking chase after me? And he's just like fucking talking mad shit in his face. It was so fucked up. And Mechanic's like not in the mood for it. As you can imagine, he's legitimately injured. And so like I catch up to him because like when I have to cover this ground and I'm just like casually walking and Moses is shit talking him the whole fucking time. Like beating him down, really roughing him up verbally, you know? And so like I get there
with the steel.
I get there and I'm like, yo, Justin, you okay? And he's like, I don't think so. And he's like, and he gets himself up and he's like, I'm just trying to help. And I'm like, I know, that was very stupid of you.
Right.
And he gets himself up and, you okay? And he's like, I think I got to just go back to the room. And I'm like, okay, Moses, like you already fucked up your friend. Can we like just go back? At this point, we're 20 feet from the hotel.
Right.
There's no reason to not just like get there safely. So we all walk back together. You're talking shit to him the whole fucking time, dude. The whole time. It was so mean. It was so fucking mean. But at no point did I defend him because it's like you can't argue with a drunk Moses.
Yeah.
So basically we like collectively, the three of us limp back to the hotel. We take the elevator up and we get to Moses' room. Justin is so good as to be like, I'll continue to help you because he's like, at this point, Justin's mind is like, Moses is gonna fucking pull some shit.
Right,
you know,
right,
blah, blah,
right,
blah.
right.
So like the three of us are there. So Justin, once again, being a nice guy, he's trying to like help out. And so we get up to Moses' room. So me and Justin, we hang back a little bit. And I'm like, and I'm done with Moses.
Yeah.
So fucking obnoxious. Love you, brother. And I'm like, Moses, you have your fucking key on you. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, can you go and fucking open up your door and go in the fucking side of your room so that we're like done with this bullshit? And you're like, yeah. So we're sitting there, we're like leaning up against the wall, not talking, just exhausted, like that type of defeated, where it's like, I'm just trying to get back to like the shit that you guys are doing.
Right.
And mechanic needs to go and like ice his fucking ankle or some shit, you know? And Moses is sitting there, you're sitting there and you're like, you're putting the card in. You're putting the card in and you're like doing stuff with the card. You're doing all sorts of things with the card. And I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck are you doing? Like fucking go inside your room. And you're like, oh, I'm working on it. And you're being a dick about it and so on and so forth. And you keep doing it. And at a certain point, I got like pissed off. So I was like, I'm going to come over there and fucking do it for you. And I start walking over towards you and you're like, I got it. And you go to like put the fucking card into the slot. And instead you like trip over your own feet and you fall. But you fall into the door and you fall into the room because the door was never closed. It was open the whole time. That fucking metal bar that you put in the way, it was closed before the door was closed.
In my defense, I wasn't the last person in that room.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Either way, you can imagine how I felt in that moment. And I was like, are you fucking serious, dude? We spent like 5 minutes outside of that door. So we basically just put you inside the room, closed the door properly, and we wandered off, and mechanic had to go and ice his knee after that. Yeah. And I believe he's still working on that recovery.
I thought it was his ankle.
Yeah, it was his ankle.
It was
his ankle, and it was still, pretty messed up for a while, and he's still working on it now. So,
I'm sorry. Don't chase me.
So that aside, I think it's a little foggy. Kristina says she was brown out. Like, I have vague memories of this, so I was quickly approaching. But quickly thereafter, we got banned from Wonder Bar.
Right.
Well, as a party.
I will say, just to tie his part into where we were at Wonder Bar, we did get a notification. I think it was Pete sent.
Yes. So I was like,
so we got Moses back to the room. There was a casualty.
And like I was confused because I didn't even though like Justin volunteered to do it, I had forgotten about that or whatever the case may be. So I didn't consider Justin. And I'm talking to Justin's life partner, whatever you want to call her, Dorian. She's the best. And I'm like, there was a casualty. I didn't know Justin and somebody was like, oh, Justin went with them. And I'm like, because I just assumed it was Moses. Oh, Moses the casualty. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I assumed the same thing.
And then somebody said, oh no, Justin went with them. And I'm like, uh-oh. And Dorian's like, what? That's how we found out that Justin's leg was wrecked, and I think Dorian had to go.
Yeah, I saw her on the phone with him after you had told me what had happened. I felt so bad, but I didn't realize that he was making that sacrifice for you. Now that I know that, I was like, oh wow,
yeah,
thank you, Justin.
So
I'm a rascal.
To paint a picture too, this is the Wonder Bar. If you've never been to the WonderBar, it's like a band.
I had never been to the Wonder Bar
music
before.
venue.
It's a music venue / bar. It sucks. Can't go there even at 2 p.m. to watch a football game and get interrupted by some cover band. It's like my worst nightmare.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
It's fine because I didn't think
we picked it as a central location. We weren't really thinking about it.
It's easily found if you're not even from around here.
It's a central place. I thought we were going to go from Wonder Bar to X, Y.
We all thought that was going to happen.
So, but we stayed there way too long.
Yeah. We did.
But it's also because I think we just everyone dropped $20 to exist there.
Yeah,
so
you feel like you need your money's worth.
Yeah.
We were meeting other people there.
Yeah, and then other people were flowing in. So we got to stay for these.
I think that's the point why we ended up staying longer than we should have. Is that because people were trickling in?
Yeah.
And it was just I think Kristina and we had, I think, 2 drinks.
It was difficult to get.
It was damn near impossible.
It was rough. We spent most of our time outside.
And and we were outside, and I remember just being there, and I was done with my drink, and I was just like, it's impossible. It's even impossible to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
here.
I was in a wedding dress. It was mad hard to get a drink.
So I was just.
Well, you did God's work.
I was just done at that point, and I'm like, anybody else looking to bounce? Because I want to leave. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you take the point, brother. Yep. And I was just like, oh, absolutely. I'm going to the Iron Whale. Yep. And you're like, is it even open? I'm like, I'll fucking tell you if it's open.
That was a good call.
Literally across the street.
Yeah.
And
that's where I started my day.
Yes. Yeah. But that was either I texted it to you or I tried to text you. I'm like, thanks for taking point on that. Because that's where we had to fucking go. Because we couldn't get served.
And then that's when, so I make it over there. No one's there. It's quiet. It's the exact opposite of Wonder Bar. I'm like, I'm
a nice bar.
Yeah.
And so it took if I look back at my phone, I can find the exact time. I think it was like somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes from me getting there to you sending a text out to the entire chain saying like the wedding party has been banned.
Yes. And I mean, it's just straight up fuck Wonder Bar.
Yeah. Did we ever get like a real explanation as to why?
There were rumors about who had flagged us at Wonder Bar, but I don't know if we ever like.
It can't be put on. I don't think it can be put on one.
I agree. I think it was just we were hopping.
I think it was the sum of the parts.
They had like a legit crowd they had to attend to, let alone our own bullshit that we brought in
for their shitty band.
It was a Friday night, so
I thought I heard stories of Jango not being able to get a drink at the Wonder Bar for whatever reason.
That sounds appropriate.
I was trying to order drinks, and you guys are actually there for part of that. But I was trying to order drinks for a variety of people because nobody was able to get a drink.
No.
And
she's in her fucking wedding dress and couldn't get fucking served.
Nobody was getting served, my lady included. So I was like, I'll do my best, fucking loud. I'll just like, so, but I was trying to be polite.
Right.
So I'm like sitting there and like leaning forward on the bar, like made eye contact with the guy. Guy made eye contact with me, would stop at the person right next to me and then go back around the bar.
They made a decision.
And I was like, wow. Yeah. And even like, and my lady is a fucking bartender. So like, she knows the proper etiquette and would never allow me to act in a way that was inappropriate, let's say. And eventually, like I started like making the hand gesture, trying to do a hand signal, whatever, like I'm looking for a drink over here.
Yeah.
And the guy came around and he goes, he walks right up to me and he goes, hey. And I go, hi.
Yeah.
Because I was like amazed.
Yeah.
And he goes, don't be an asshole. And then walked away from me to serve the whole rest of the bar again. And my girlfriend was standing right next to me. So she witnessed this and she's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
So,
I was
we were
nothing but polite. I did nothing wrong. Yeah. And when he eventually came back around, he was like, are you ready to place your order? And I was like, and I literally didn't,
Right.
And he was like, you're not ready. And he went back around again. I'm like, what the fuck, And so then when he came back, I ordered like 2 drinks for everybody. So I was like, we're never going to get another drink here again,
Yeah.
But yeah, she was amazed by that, which is why I know that I didn't do anything wrong.
Like you said, too, I was in my wedding dress and I'm trying to order a drink for me, you, and Sharky.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm leaning, like I'm pretending I'm not in a wedding dress, just leaning against in the way that I would with my cleavage out, like looking at the people. And waiting.
It's Asbury. Cleavage doesn't mean anything there.
I know, it doesn't mean nothing. And it took forever. And then, like 5 minutes after I had finally gotten the drink, we were like, "Oh, we're flagged." And I was like, "Oh,
let's get the fuck out of here."
A little better. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, right. Iron Well was great though.
Yeah,
no, it was nice.
It was nice. It was chill.
Yeah.
You could get a drink. The bartenders were friendly. I know that for the story that I'm about to tell.
Oh yeah,
the bartender there rooms with the bartender from your wedding.
Oh,
they're roommates. I got a whole backstory.
What a weird detail to pick up out of nowhere.
Well, because I got there early, so I got to the venue, dropped off the desserts, and I was like, "Oh, is there any place open?" Because it was like 11 o'clock or something like that. I'm like, "Is there any place open to get a drink?" And he's like, "Oh, my roommate said he was working today, so he's probably over at the."
It's amazing that Moses drops that kind of knowledge, but there's like a 7-hour chunk out of the day.
Well, that was the beginning of the day. There's another funny story about that bar that you guys went to. I can't remember what it was called.
The Iron Whale?
The Iron Whale. They had trouble making drinks because whoever worked the night prior never washed out the glasses.
Oh, God.
So somebody, like, there was some dude sitting next to me when I got to the bar in the morning, and he was working on his computer and asked for some kind of, like, coffee martini or something.
Yeah.
And
it's a very Asbury drink.
The bartender made it and gave it to him, and he's like, "Oh, this taste. What did he say it tasted like? It was just." He's like, "Oh, this tastes like pickles." Like, why does it? He's like, "Well, I don't like. I just opened. I don't know." He's like, "Oh, you don't wash the glasses?" I'm like, "Well, I assumed whoever worked the night before would wash the glasses. You figure you start with a fresh array of tools for whatever your job is." He had to wash out every fucking glass that morning because he made another one out. Like he threw it, like he tasted it. They gave it to me. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of tastes like pickles. He made another one in a separate glass. Also tasted like, it wasn't pickles, it was something else. It was like, oh, it tastes like jalapeno or like something spicy. And like he had to do that a couple of times.
God.
And it was just like, this was early in the morning, so it didn't matter terribly.
Right.
But it was just a whole mess going on there.
So
basically, we emigrated.
Yeah. We went to the Iron Whale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I took point in that because I was just done with Wonder Bar. And we just had a good time there. There was nothing really else going on.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of our time
Some people had too much of a good time.
Yeah, some people had too much of a good time. You know this person. I don't want to dime them out.
Oh, well, I browned out. Iron Whale, not really part of the memory.
Our good friend's brother.
Yeah.
Oh, well, back at the lobby at a hotel, after we left Iron Whale, we all decided, well, a chunk of us had decided to go back to the hotel where we stayed.
Yeah.
Not where everyone else was staying.
But this story's going to lead into that.
My brother and my best friend's brother ended up at the hotel with us.
Yeah, so let him...
So prior to that, we're at the Iron Whale. The last two people is your best friend's brother and myself. And I'm like, well, it's time to go. And he doesn't seem to be moving off of his bar stool. And I'm like, hey, man, it's time to go. Like, we're moving on. And he's just like, that's the same. I'm like, okay. This man clearly does not understand me. So I'm like, now I'm like, saying a little bit slower, saying a little louder, being like, hey, man, it's time to go. They're going to close the bar. We can't stay here anymore. And he's like, still not getting it.
No.
So I'm like, oh, God. Now I have to kind of manhandle
This is
him
your
off the bar.
moment.
Yeah. And I did not realize that he was not going to give me any support.
Nothing.
I pick him up off the bar and he just, it was like picking up, ragdolled right out of my arms.
He's why we got flagged. I'm calling him.
Oh, he's okay. That's a distinct possibility. Fell right onto the ground. I'm like, well, now I got to use my legs. So I pick him back up, and now we've drawn the entire attention of everybody at the bar.
Yeah.
Everyone at the bar knows this particular person is now completely unstable. And so Bar comes over and I'm like, hey man, how you doing? You doing all right? And it's just like, he can't even answer.
No.
He says one sentence clearly, and it's, can I use the bathroom? And they say yes. And then once he goes to the bathroom, they question me. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm just trying to get him out of the bar.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do the right thing here, man.
What you doing to this man?
Where are you bringing him?
And so,
is that your white van?
And so I had just gotten your best friend's husband, his number that night. So I'm like, I better call him because I'm done. I'm going to the room after this. I'm going to bed. I'm using air quotes because that's not where I went. So we got him out of the bar and we just sat at the stoop. If only we had 40s.
It would have been totally Asbury.
And, I gave him a call. He's just like, yeah, I'll be right there. He grabs him.
Smart.
And they just start walking in a different direction.
They took him to the lobby.
Yeah, they took him to the lobby. I shook his hand. I'm like, dude, he's FUBAR. Just
He's done.
Yeah, just I wouldn't even take him anywhere. So this is the end. This is the end of my tale.
I know where this goes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, basically, the situation is with that individual. He and
this is hard without
Kristina's brother
names.
tried to go on an adventure a little later on that evening to a strip club that is not particularly close.
It's miles away.
It's
Literally miles away. It's in another
This
town.
person.
yeah.
Had they made it there, though?
That would have been impressive.
That would have been
My
amazing,
brother's not that dumb. They also
agree.
the police person.
They got stopped by police on the walk.
Yeah. So can I real quick
Yes.
tell you the end of my story?
Yes,
for the
please,
evening?
please.
All right, so I get him out of that jam, and I'm like, I'm just going to the room. You were so gracious, Pete, to give me the room key at some point. I think it was Dorian who handed the room key off to you.
Dorian, she got it from someone else. And
Yeah. So I have the room key. I know I have the room key, so I'm just going to go to this hotel, and I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm walking there. I'm pretty tuned up. I've been drinking all day.
Yeah.
And the first thing I see when I get to the Empress is it appears to me to be a man in a thong.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
And I was just like,
You're welcome.
And I was just like, God damn it, I hate Asbury. I hate Asbury. Why am I here?
How did he look, though?
I don't know. I was just
He says he doesn't know.
as soon as I saw that, I was just beeline it in the opposite direction. I just don't want to be here anymore.
Sounds like he was a good-looking man.
And
We'll
then-
revisit this.
And so I make it up to the room. This is adding to the hilarity of Moses' entire situation. Is I make it up to the room. One of the first things I notice is that Moses has completely swaddled himself like a baby.
It's amazing how he does that. He did the same thing on a recent trip.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you tuck yourself in. It seems like someone
well, when
else,
you don't have parents,
took
that's
their
what you got to
fingers.
do. I don't know.
It doesn't even seem like he tucked himself in. It just seems like someone else had swaddled him and placed him
incredible.
onto the bed.
That was a little burrito.
Yes.
A sleepy burrito. Band name.
Having seen that, I was like, all right, no shot in hell I'm getting in the bed.
Right.
The second thing I noticed is that now all of his clothes, all of his pimp clothes, have been strewn about the room.
Well, that happened before I even went out on my second adventure.
And so I now notice that all of his clothes are all over the room, and I'm like, that's double the reason why there's no shot in hell I'm getting in that bed. Yeah. Even if there was like that no gay space that you would put in between, like I'm sharing a bed with another man.
Well, that's why I swallowed myself.
Crazy guys.
Dan, I can't bang you in the ass if I'm swaddled.
So you guys have been to hotel rooms. So if you're out there, you've been to hotel rooms. You know that one chair they give you, that
that weirdly
uncomfortable chair.
It's not set up for any one purpose. Yeah. It's just uncomfort.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop you right there. It's not set up for any one purpose.
It's there for the
all right, we know what it's set up for.
We know what it's set up for, and we can leave it at that.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening that night.
That's the direction to take it. It's not the direction I was going with.
I'm sure it wasn't.
So the bed is out, the floor is out. I guess I'm sleeping in this chair.
Yeah.
And so that's what
The floor is lava, dude.
This is clothes all over. Yeah. And plus, if that chair is used for what I think
the floor is male rape, Dan.
Honestly, the chair is probably the worst spot to sleep.
It's all right. I'll take that suit to dry cleaning, and then the fucking incinerator.
The funny part is, I got up multiple times throughout. Well, I guess while you guys were doing whatever, but by the time you got back, didn't notice you at all until like 6 or 7 in the morning. Yeah. I got up again to go piss, and I go back and I noticed Stan in the corner. I'm like, huh? And I got back in bed and I looked over. I'm like, wait, did I just see that?
Yeah.
It was Dan. I'm just like, oh, hey, sailor.
Yeah, you did say hey,
and
sailor.
And then I went right back to bed.
God damn it!
I can't sleep sitting up. To save my ever-loving life. I cannot do it. And so I woke up numerous times throughout the night, like 3:30. I was like, oh, maybe I can drive back. And I just like look around and I'm like, no, you cannot. You are still fucking dizzy. So around that time, 6:30, when you woke up,
it was
you're like,
something
hey, sailor.
like that.
I was just like, I was thinking like, oh, now I can leave. And I'm like, oh.
No, he's trying to move, and it's just like,
I still can't fucking leave. But at that point, it's like 6:30. Can't go back to sleep, especially in this fucking chair. So I'm just on my phone until about 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I don't care if I can leave now. Now is the time to
leaving.
Go. I am leaving. I just remembered I hate this fucking city. And that was the end of my journey.
Yeah. There are stories that can't be told that happened in the wee hours of the morning. Unless, Kristina, you got anything. No, I didn't think so.
Nope.
I think there is one story because we have run long on this episode that we can kind of wrap up with. And Pete, I think you can kind of take the helm on this one because you littered a certain person's car with a certain sign.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
This is the
First
perfect
of all,
thing.
what I did was not litter. It was earned.
It was
I'm sorry. Is it my story to tell, or is it yours? Because it seems like you don't know anything about it.
I found out the next day.
Yeah. So we all stayed at the same hotel. That is to say, myself, Moses, other persons, my lady. And when we emerged in the morning, my lady recovering from the night of debauchery and too much drinking.
On her birthday.
Yeah, it's true. It was on her birthday. And she was in a state of recovery. And also, we had to be at the Poconos that same day for her birthday.
Damn, that's another story, and we're out of time.
Yeah,
we got to mingle these stories.
The gist of it is that I roused her from the bed, and we went down the elevator, checked out, and there was indeed a continental breakfast, which was offered by the hotel. And God knows, as a proper Jew, I'm not going to say no to free food.
Well, that's why you got plastic bags for pockets.
I don't know what that means. Wow. We're going to revisit that one. So we ended up kind of huddling up there a little bit, got some free eats and what have you. And at a certain point, she said to me, she was like, "We do need to get this going. I feel nauseous, so on and so forth." And so I loaded up like a fry basket, I guess, with like pastries and shit like that. And as we like wandered down the corridors of this hotel to get to the parking lot, I took a bite out of the ones that I thought might be enjoyable. Found out that most of them were terrible because this was a continental
at the Empress.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was all bad food. It was very stale, unpleasant. And when we got to the parking lot, we were parked directly next to yourself, Moses. And I'm not ashamed to say that I did place those pastries underneath the windshield wipers of your car. Several of them. And I did arrange them nicely. I took time with it. I didn't just hustle this out because I knew that he would be in that bed for several more hours.
Checkout was 11.
I placed them. I said we, but that's not true. She actually was in the car wondering why I was not taking us to the Poconos. And this is kind of a shitty thing of me, but I stand by it. So I placed several of these underneath your windshield wipers, and I was laughing to myself because I think I'm the funniest person in the world. and then I got in the car and I'm still laughing because it's just so funny. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I put those underneath his windshield wipers because when he sees it, he's going to be like, Pete did this," and like, "Fuck Pete."
Right, yeah.
And she's like, "He's probably just going to turn his windshield wipers on and not ever tell you what you did." And I'm like, "Yeah, he probably will."
Oh, that's weird.
And that's very disappointing for me because I would love that. And she's like, "Or seagulls will eat them." I'm like, "Oh,
that
seagulls
exactly
are totally."
and
that's what happened because we found out several days later. So we just drove away. They were just there, and you never said a fucking word to me about it. And you're that kind of person where like even if I do get one up on you, you're never gonna say it to me. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, Pete, I found the fucking pastries. You got me." You know, you're never gonna say it. It'll just die with you. But Mechanic, I was chilling with him, like, and he was like the third car in, and so he was just like, "Man, when I was walking out, I saw a lot of pastries on Moses' car." And no, he didn't even word it that way.
No, the seagulls.
It was a lot of seagulls.
Yeah. Seagulls and fucking and crumbs around the ground. That was all that he saw.
No, and
I'm very upset they didn't shit all over your car.
No, my car had never looked so clean on the outside.
I did a good job.
It's funny because evidently the seagulls ate all the pastries.
Yeah.
Did not shit on his car at all.
Yeah. And there was just like a couple of crumbs, so they just got it down. They went and shit on somebody else's car.
Look what you did.
Kristina and I were leaving. We had to drive past in the Uber, drive past the parking lot for the Empress, and his car was pristine.
Yeah, you got this weird luck, man. I'll tell you.
I make my own luck.
Yeah, that's not what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
Oh, I tried, and I'll try again.
No, all right.
But yeah,
if you ever do that to me.
That's
oh no, God forbid.
That's the long and short of our wedding.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was a great time.
I loved it. I had a great time.
We should do it next week.
It was fantastic. Next time we go, we're going to the Gate Club, buddy. You got to keep yourself sober.
I don't know about that.
Let's just see what happens.
Moses sober?
You know he'll be the queen of paradise.
Oh my God! Yeah, he jokes about it, but as soon as he gets a tiny bit of attention from some flamboyant gay man, you know he's gonna be eating it up.
Yep.
Nancy drives home by herself.
Yeah.
Or she just doesn't come again.
There's a double entendre there. We won't touch that one.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you subscribe to this podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell. Follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you enjoyed this episode, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loudanddrunk. So for the groom, Justin, and the bride, Kristina, congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
And
for Pete, Jango Smith, whatever we were calling you in this episode.
Jango Smith.
There you go. And for a pimp named Moses.
Master of desserts.
I'm Dan the lawyer. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, this was Loud and Drunk.